Bixi is back for another year. Proponents say Bixis have helped Montreal become the cycling capital of Canada. But Bixis have never made money. It's estimated the Bixi will cost Montreal $60 million over 10 years. Bradley Doucet is with the Montreal Economic Institute. And thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So you've done a study, and one of the things that I want to get to is sort of this, the story that has been built around Bixi, that it has put Montreal on the map as a cycling capital, that it's great for the environment, that it really promotes cycling. There isn't a lot to that story, is there, if you just study the statistics, the numbers behind it?
That's right. I mean, Bixi's numbers are up, but if you look at the overall cycling picture, how many people are riding their bikes on a regular basis, at least once a week, those numbers are down. There's an 8% decrease over 5 years. So in terms of encouraging active transportation, there doesn't seem to be much of an effect.
Because people aren't giving up their cars to ride a bicycle, right? It's like somebody who might have walked anyway or forgot their bicycle at home is taking a Bixi. So the environmental impact of reducing the number of cars on the road is not really having much effect here.
That's correct. Most of the Bixi docking stations are in the central neighborhoods of Montreal, which is already well served by the metro system. So yeah, Bixi rides tend to replace walking or other cycling or public transit use.
So then, is Bixi overall a good idea? I mean, is this a model that can work?
Well, we are seeing the emergence of different bike sharing systems around the world, in China, in the UK, in different cities in the United States, that are using different models that, for instance, don't have docking stations. You locate the bike on your smartphone. These are different models that are emerging now that may in fact be more cost-effective, certainly.
So what is the problem, though, in Montreal's case? I mean, $60 million over 10 years, and this is not including the fees people pay, right, to use the bikes. What is going wrong here? What are we doing wrong?
Well, we've adopted a technology that is expensive, and we don't know exactly the reasons why it's over budget every year, but several $1 million of tax funds every year to support the system. So it certainly doesn't pay for itself as it was presented to begin with. It doesn't make money.
And I guess the problem then becomes, though, that once the city is committed to this particular project, it won't be looking at other alternatives, right?
That's right. Right now, we're locked in for a certain amount of time. We don't know what would have emerged if we hadn't locked ourselves in that way. But it's certainly worth thinking about whether we want to keep spending more money. The government has announced recently that it is going to invest, in addition to the operating fees, an extra $9.4 million to improve equipment and add bicycles. Is that the direction we really want to be going in?
You know, the mayor yesterday said it's not always about money, that this is a social investment. What do you say to that?
Well, again, it's true that it's a popular service among certain Montrealers, but if we look at the benefits, as we've discussed, in terms of encouraging active transportation, in terms of any environmental benefits, there's not a lot there. So there's different things that we might be doing with that money. You know, you mentioned that Montreal is often held up as the cycling capital of Canada. The real picture is a little bit more nuanced. When compared with 5 large Canadian cities, and adjusting for population, Montreal's cycling infrastructure actually comes in 4th out of 5. So there's room for improvement there.
And I guess as long as we buy into the story, we're not going to ask the right questions, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for this. Thank you very much for the study. If you want to find out more about it, you can go to the Montreal Economic Institute website. It is IEDM.org. Thanks again for coming in.
Thanks for having me.